So, you're looking to buy a home in the Sunshine State. You probably already know the process can be, well, a lot. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and help you find the right home loan, and we're using real data from people who've just been through it. Let's dive in. It really is the million-dollar question, and sometimes literally. Picking a lender in Florida's super competitive market can feel totally overwhelming. I mean, you're making this huge financial decision, and the pressure to get it right is just massive. So, where do you even start? Well, you start with the data. We're basing this whole breakdown on the My Financial Programs community survey. And what that is a really deep dive into the actual experiences of more than 1,000 recent home buyers all across Florida. It gives us a clear, unbiased look at who's really delivering and who isn't. Okay, so to find the best lender for you, we first have to figure out what actually matters to people when they're in the middle of this pretty stressful process. It's not always just about getting the lowest possible number. The survey really zeroed in on what makes a great loan experience. And it really boils down to these three key things. First, the application process. Was it a total breeze or an absolute nightmare? Second, of course, the loan terms and the rate. Were they competitive? And third, and this one is a really big deal, how was the human side of things? Did you feel like you had support? Did you feel guided through one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make? So when we crunched all the numbers from across the state, a very clear trend popped up right away. It turns out one type of institution is consistently making Florida homebuyers a lot happier than the others. The data here is crystal clear, but the real story is in that support and guidance column. Look at that. Credit unions scored a 4.47, which is a pretty big jump over everyone else. And that high-touch support seems to directly lead to the most important number on this chart, the recommendation percentage. And this is the headline right here. A staggering 90% of homebuyers who went with a credit union said they would recommend them to family and friends. That is a massive vote of confidence and probably the single biggest takeaway from all the statewide data. But let's be real. Florida is a huge state. What works great in Jacksonville might not be the number one choice down in Miami. So let's zoom in a bit and see what specific lenders are getting the highest praise in the major metro areas. Let's kick things off down south in the super dynamic Miami market. You know the competition here is fierce, but three lenders really rose above the rest, according to the people who live there. So Suncoast Credit Union leads the pack with an unbelievable 96% recommendation rate. But check out City National Bank, they got a perfect 5.0 score for support and guidance. This tells you that in Miami, homebuyers are really rewarding that personal expert advice. So why Suncoast? Well, the feedback tells the story. They're not just offering generic loans. They're providing specific solutions that Miami buyers actually need. Everything from help for first-time buyers to competitive rates on jumbo loans, which are just loans for higher-priced homes. All right, let's head across the state to the Tampa Bay area. You might just see a familiar name here, but we also have some other local powerhouses that are making a really strong showing. And yep, there it is again. Suncoast Credit Union is just as dominant in Tampa as it is in Miami. Look at those identical top-tier scores. But what's really interesting is that Tampa's whole top three is made up of credit unions, with GTE Financial and Florida Credit Union also getting exceptionally high marks from their local homebuyers. So what makes a lender like GTE Financial stand out? It's that specialization. Tampa has a huge and growing medical community, and GTE has actually created specific loan programs to serve those professionals. It's just a perfect example of a local lender really understanding its community. Now, heading into Central Florida, that trend we saw brewing in Tampa gets even stronger. The top recommendations in the Orlando market? It's a clean sweep for the credit unions. Wow. Orlando Credit Union just knocks it out of the park with a 96% recommendation rate and a perfect 5.0 for support and guidance. I mean, it literally does not get any better than that. It's so clear that in the Orlando area, homebuyers feel like these local institutions are providing a level of service you just can't beat. And this is why it matters. It's not just about great service and feeling good. It's about real, tangible benefits. Homeowners specifically called out Orlando Credit Union's competitive fixed rates and their special programs that help new buyers get into the market, which, as you know, is so crucial right now. Now, of course, local banks and credit unions aren't the only option out there. What about all those big online lenders you see advertised everywhere? Or what about independent mortgage brokers? Let's see how they stack up. This is a perfect contrast because it really shows two totally different approaches. Rocket Mortgage is the king of speed and ease. They get a massive 4.8 for their simple application process. On the other hand, a broker like Lending Bankers Mortgage is the expert, dominating in support and guidance with a 4.9. This brings up a really important choice for you. Do you value a fast, simple digital process more, or do you need an expert to guide you through a more complicated situation? Okay, so after looking at the statewide trends, the city leaders, and these different types of lenders, what does it all mean for you? Let's boil it all down to the most important takeaways. Here's what you really need to remember. Number one, credit unions are hands down the satisfaction leaders across Florida. Two, that personal support, that guidance is often the thing that separates a good experience from a truly great one. Three, it really pays to do your local homework because the top dogs change from city to city. And four, know what you value most. Is it the speed of an online lender, or is it the deep expertise you get from a broker? There is so much more data to dig into here. So if you want to see the full rankings for your city, or you just want to get deeper into the numbers, we've put links to the complete My Financial Program survey and some other really helpful tools for you right in the description. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When it comes to your journey of buying a home in Florida, what's your number one priority? Is it getting the absolute best rate, having the smoothest and easiest process, or is it having an expert who can guide you every single step of the way? Knowing the answer to that is the first and honestly the most important step to finding the perfect lender for you.